Welcome back, folks. This is another one of those introductory videos to basically give you a feel for what's going to be happening this semester or this session and how we're going to take this course. So the topic of today's video is navigating our Blackboard page. I should probably take these out. Use them to listen to our videos after I record them. So anyway, what we've got on our screen here, the bulk of your screen, is the course Blackboard page. And you should probably be pretty familiar with the Blackboard interface in general, but let's review how it's going to work because it is going to play a vital role in this course. So first, what we have here is our home page, and it's a little bit bare. You're not going to see much there over the course of the session. From time to time, I'll make some announcements. Those announcements get emailed to you, but you will be able to review them here. But that won't come up too terribly much. The What's New tells you all this stuff that's been recently added to the course, but again, it's easier to get to it through the online classroom and other places. So here is your way of navigating the course. We have our little tabs here. We are going to be focusing on the ones that are above this line. The things below it probably aren't going to matter at all. It's conceivable they could, but it's definitely not part of the core course. Sometimes students say, hey, when I load this up, I don't see these little tabs here. Here's the reason why. Sometimes they disappear and it full screens it. To get it back, we'll click on the little arrow and there are your tabs. So we're on the home page. Under syllabus is, unsurprisingly, the syllabus, which we discussed in another video, where you're going to be doing almost the entirety of the coursework is on the online classroom. The online classroom contains all of the lecture material for the course, that and the electronic textbook, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. And it's also where you are going to take your quizzes and exams, which we'll talk about in a separate video as well. So let's review some of the basics of what we see here in our online classroom. First, we have a course introduction. There's some general stuff to talk about there. Then we have some guidelines on using your Respondus browser. You have to use a locked browser to take each test. So there are guidelines for using it here, including where to download it. There's also an ungraded quiz you can take at any point, but I really recommend you do that before the first exam just to make sure that everything is working the way that you want it to. You don't want to find out when you try to take the test that your tech doesn't work, your webcam or your browser doesn't work, or that you don't know how to use it appropriately. But the bulk of the course is down here in these little folders that are called modules. Now, there are 13 content modules here, and then there's also module 0, which is kind of an introductory thing. So let's look at one of the content modules, and then we'll go to our introductory module and poke around there for a minute as well. So for each one of these introductory modules, or these content modules, what you're going to see is an introductory statement, and then you're going to see a series of short videos like this one that reviews the content for that particular module. So when you go here, you can see we have all these different videos. This one is called Philosophy and Principles. If we click on Watch Video, we can, again, just play it here. I'm not going to subject you to that, but you also can view it on YouTube if you like. They are all contained on YouTube. Or you can full screen it directly here and just view it within the browser itself if you want a little bit more space there. So another thing to point out is each one of these videos has a little PDF file attached. Those PDF files are the actual slides covered. It's not me talking. It's just the material that I presented there. So if you are just wanting to go through the material at your own pace, or if you're just sick of hearing my voice, I can respect it. You're going to be dealing with a lot of that over the next 5 weeks. You can download these and look through them individually on your own and just kind of go at your own pace. But again, there's not going to be any of me talking over it. You want to watch these videos. They are intended to be watched in order from top to bottom. So just kind of progress through each one. Most of the videos are 8 to 12 minutes, I would say. And then when we complete each module, there is going to be a practice quiz for each one. So some practice problems there. These quizzes are ungraded. They are not something that you're going to be handing in. They also have the answers down here at the bottom for each one. So if you review each practice quiz, just try to take it like you would an exam and just kind of gauge where you're at and then look over the answers and see, where there are any discrepancies or where you're having some issues. So this is a supplement to the homework and to some of the practice problems we'll be doing in the lectures themselves. So that's one of our content modules. Again, you progress through them. Every so often, there is a quiz that's given. Here you see that there's a first graded quiz down there. Like the exams, those quizzes can be taken at any point in the semester, but have to be handed in by the end. And if you want feedback on them, you're really going to want to do it sooner than later. But let's look at our introductory module here, and then we'll look at some other stuff. So this is the first place that you should go here in the syllabus. And we have some basic instructions here. We have kind of an older picture of me there. We have a little subfolder of some basics, things like online etiquette, instructor expectations, technical requirements, and support might matter a little bit. And again, that will guide you to our resources menu item, which can help you with some of that if you're having technical problems. I'm not a tech support person, but this will contact you with people who are. And so we're going to go back to the main module 0. So in addition to that folder, we have some of our introductory videos. We have a syllabus video, which you may have seen already. We have a using Blackboard video. Hang on, that's the video that we're shooting right now, isn't it? Well, this is from last year, and so we're reshooting it here. And I think I have almost the same shirt on. That's cool. And then how are you going to get access to your electronic textbook and use your Applia homework program is going to be present here. This will be updated as well once I get it pinned down exactly how it's going to be happening. We have some other stuff for how to take quizzes and exams. We have tips for success. We have some big ideas. We have a little bit of info on your textbook, student success guide, and an initial algebra quiz. One of the things that I like to do, and I like to have you do, is get a gauge for how prepared you are for the calculation end of things in this class. So this is a little quiz that has some pretty straightforward algebra problems. You're going to get a grade on that in the sense that you're going to get a percentage that you got right or wrong. But the only way it's actually going to affect your real grade in the course is if you hand it in the first week, you get extra credit for it. If you don't, you won't get extra credit for it. So hand in a completed quiz. I will give you a percentage that's correct, but whether that's 0, 100, anything in between, it all counts the same. As long as you complete everything, you're going to get extra credit points in the course. And this also can give you some practice for completing some material and uploading it like you'll be doing with your regular quizzes, your actual graded quizzes. So again, you can see how to do that in there, but let's move on. So we've talked about the online classroom. You're also going to be using a little bit of the discussion forum. The discussion forum is where we can kind of post to each other and talk about the course and, just kind of get to know one another. The first thing that's in there is an introduction post. Again, I can't ask people questions. I can't really see your faces until you take the exams unless you contact me directly. So this is an opportunity for me to get to know you a little bit better than just a face on or a name on a page. And vice versa for you getting to know me a little bit better. So please make a post here, an introductory post. Just say hello to yourself and your fellow classmates. I'll make some dumb reply to it. I think I'm providing dad jokes, so you get some of those as well. There's also a frequently asked questions forum where I've listed out some questions that come up a lot in taking this class. You can review that, but also if you have an infrequently asked question, you can make a post there and I will reply to it as soon as I catch it, which is usually within a day or two. You also, of course, can always email me or contact me via Skype during those office hours. Then we have a few student discussion forums where you can ask questions about each unit of your fellow students. So this is not for talking to me, this is for talking to each other. Sometimes having another student explain something or describe how they approach things can be more helpful than talking to an instructor. So we have a resource for that here. So feel free to make posts there, and if you're a student, check up on that every so often, see if there's any way that you can help out or anything that you need help on. So that's under discussion. Resources, not a heck of a lot going on in here. Again, we have some general learning resources, which won't come up too terribly much, but things like the library, learning disability accommodations might be handy. Then we have our technical resource folder, which is mostly going to help you with using the things that you need to use. You need to obviously have an internet connection. You need to obviously be able to use Blackboard, which isn't too difficult. You need to be able to use that Respondus lockdown browser and monitor. By the way, if you're taking this at the library, they should all already have that. So that might help you find that as well. And again, you'll also need to be able to use a webcam for taking those exams. And we'll talk about that more in subsequent videos. Then everything below this line, obviously you'll have grades at some point. You don't have them now. Everything below this line is probably not places that you're too likely to venture. The big places to go to are, of course, the syllabus initially, but then the online classroom is the vast majority of what you'll be doing, and discussions as well. And there's one more thing that I guess will come up in the next video, but I'll just show it to you very quickly. When you take your exams, you are going to be finding them down here in the exams folder. In here, we have review sheets or study guides for each exam. So you'll want to take that and use that to kind of guide your studying. You have a formula sheet. You're going to want to print that formula sheet. I do not expect anyone to memorize formulas. And then here's the exams itself. Notice that you cannot open these exams in your normal browser. You can only open them with that Respondus lockdown browser. So when you're ready to go on in, open that Respondus browser, open up the appropriate exam, and you will begin. They all have to be completed in one sitting, as we'll talk about in a subsequent video. The only thing that's missing is the final exam isn't here, and that's because you can't take the final exam yet. You can only take it the very last day of the session, and that's when it'll be available to you. But other than that, you could start taking exams today. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could. You can take them at any point that you like. They just have to be completed by the end of the session. All right, but that's all we've got now for reviewing our Blackboard page, and I will see you at the next video.